Hello, fellow beings of light, and welcome to, you know, I'm not even sure what to call this at this point. It is an activation of the third and final piece of our Phoenix Blueprint, which brings together the energies of the 1010, 1111, and 1212 portals. Now, I know what you're thinking. Jessa, I'm pretty sure it is some might even say late January of 2026. I know. Knowing that, I am actually going to call this recording a holding. And I'm going to ask you to bear with me for however long it takes for me to get to what I mean by that. Because I will get there, I promise. In order to do so, however, I am being called to share some personal things in terms of my own journey over the last 2 months as I, like all of you, faced the choice point that we all arrived at with the end of 2025, the end of a 9-year cycle, and the beginning of 2026, the beginning of a new 9-year cycle, the return to one on 111. That call, it is because I can feel that. Like me, many of you have struggled with crossing the metaphorical, metaphysical, whatever hump of that choice point for one reason or another. We got stuck for one reason or another. And if you don't already know it, don't already feel it, that is okay. That is more than okay. Because a lot was asked of us from 999 to 111. And whether or not we got stuck when that choice point came with the 1212 portal, forgive my language here, we rose to that fucking challenge. Because I can feel that too. Everyone that is listening to this recording, you are hearing my voice, this message, this activation, because you rose to that fucking challenge. So, no fear that you missed making your choice. No shame or guilt that you are late for the party. None of that. Because we are not. We are arriving there, here, with this recording and the choice point it activates, right when we were always meant to. Trust that. Believe that. And if you are struggling with doing so, even after hearing those words brought through, I want you to understand something. That I was at that choice point personally, ready for it, locked in and loaded for it, all the way back in September when we started the path to what would lead us to it, this blueprint. I was affirming that left and right, clear, confident, certain. If you would have told me back then that I was going to get stuck, that I was going to be late to the choice point, I would have laughed and given you a, yeah, okay, sure, and kept moving on, thinking the journey and the 1212 choice point itself was going to be a walk in the park. It wasn't. It really wasn't. At the end of October, when I was ramping up, receiving, and putting together episodes and activations to aid all of you with all that was being asked of us, I received that I needed to take a step back from recording none of the planned podcast episodes and none of the fall themes, just the activations for this Phoenix blueprint. I was being called instead to focus on me and my personal journey in the time leading up to the choice point. And I did that. I signed up for an offering I was being called to, and I switched gears. I went all in on it and on myself, trusting that the energy and frequency shifts I was cultivating would be shared with all. Midway through that, on 11/11, my husband had emergency brain surgery. That was a week of him being in the hospital, 2 weeks of him needing full-time care from me while he wasn't strong enough to walk on his own, let alone take care of himself on his own. 2 more weeks beyond that of him needing part-time care from me while he worked on reaching his new normal. 5 very difficult weeks, mentally, emotionally, and physically, for not just him, obviously, but for me. In the midst of all of that, a few days after he got home from the hospital, I was in full receive mode during one of the lives for that offering I committed to for myself. And I received from my guides, the archangels who were guiding that offering on that day, that I was going to be facing a total collapse of everything in order to make way for what would be coming in 2026. That was going to be my choice point challenge. They didn't mean distortions or things that I needed to let go of mentally or emotionally that I was still holding on to. All that stuff I'd been working on already up until and through that point. No. What they were talking about was the collapse of everything around me. Finances, housing, bills getting paid, basic needs being met, and obviously my support system and my husband during all of that, because he was struggling with his own things. All of this, not because I was being asked to live in lack, but because I was being asked to prepare for, to make room for a unified purpose and timeline shift that was going to hit my being, my soul, my life in a way that required a blank slate, in a way that required the removal of everything around me, in a way that required the removal of a contract that had been doing its darndest to hold back the full extent of my frequency and light, the full extent of my power, until it was time, until enough were ready to receive it. For a shift from not just being a transmitter to and for the collective, but to being a guide for those within it. Back when I said a lot was being asked of all of us between 999 and 111, that right there, the collapse of everything around me, the level of acceptance and trust required from me when I was already knee deep in a crisis. That was asking beyond a lot. So, yeah, I started getting stuck. Not because I wasn't accepting and trusting. As hard as that was to not just do, but to do every single day and every single moment that got difficult, I was doing it. But with everything that was going on, the second part of the Phoenix Blueprint, the 1111 piece of it, that didn't come out until the beginning of December. The third part, this part of it, the 1212 piece of it, that isn't coming out until literally right now, just past the halfway point in January. All of the things that have been coming through for weeks, shifts in our offerings and the podcast and activations moving forward for 2026 to embody the role of a guide. I'm just now starting to work on all of that. And the more behind I was getting, the more I felt myself falling back into allowing myself to feel the fear that I was messing up, that I was missing out on what I was meant to be doing. The guilt and shame that I was getting later and later to the party, I was allowing it to eat at me, to hold me back. Another choice point challenge, one initiated by me, myself, and I, instead of the universe. A challenge that made the one it was giving me a whole lot harder. I couldn't bring in that more that is waiting for me, regardless of how much I was trusting that it was, because my energy, my soul, my manifestation mojo was not in it. I was not stepping into and embodying the more that I was being guided towards. I'm working on it though. This recording, it is the first big step in what will be many steps that I begin taking into that shift, which finally circles us back around to why I am calling this recording a holding. About a week ago, I received a very clear message from one of my primary guides, Archangel Gabriel, who I have a very brother and sister type of relationship with. It was a message, a lifeline meant to hype me up, to get me moving forward again, because he was done watching me flailing around and drowning. That message, you know you've got juice when your team, when the universe is holding open the energies of a portal, of portals for you, so that you can finish what you were called to achieve through them, what you were meant to achieve through them for yourself and the collective. I felt it in that moment. What I'd been refusing to allow myself to feel and receive. The holding open of not just the energies of the 1212 portal, but the energies of the 111 portal, the start of the return to one. Not gonna lie, for a moment, I fell back further into guilt that everyone was being held back from moving forward, from these portals closing because of me, because I couldn't get my shit together. But then I gave myself a moment of silence, of presence, and I really let myself feel into it. That is when I first felt it. I felt others, so many of them, so many of you who were also stuck because of the enormity of the choice point challenges we were given by the universe or by ourselves. Because of the enormity of this exact point in time at the end of a 9-year cycle with 2025 and a return to one in 2026 that is unlike any other start of a new 9-year cycle in the history of our planet and beyond it. And because we are connected, because we are one with each other, because I am a carrier and a transmitter of that frequency, those portal energies, they haven't just been held open to give me more time. They have been held open to give all of us more time. That is beautiful. So supportive and loving and full of the brightest damn rainbow of light any of us has ever seen. We are being held. That is a testament to just how important this point in our time on this planet and in the cosmos truly is. That we are no longer being held back from moving forward. That not only do enough of us below believe that the time is now, but for the first time, enough of those above believe that the time is now too. And not only do they believe, they are holding open the energies of portals for us until enough can step through them to build the momentum that will help those that aren't ready yet. Ooh, I don't think I've ever gotten this emotional this many times in one recording before, and we aren't even to the journey and activation yet. Oh. And I don't know if you are realizing what I am realizing right now, but Gabriel's message and everything I just received and shared, it is a big flashing sign that says, I may have been letting my mind make me feel like I was the one holding myself back. But in reality, I was being held back until it was the right time, until enough were ready. Now, I'm not late for the party at all. And in turn, none of you that have been feeling stuck are either. We are right on time. This recording, this last piece of the Phoenix Blueprint, is not late for the party at all. It is happening exactly when it was meant to, which, looking at the corner of my computer screen, I'm just now realizing is on 1/19/2026, which breaks down to 111. Again, a second 111. That's not irony. That's not a coincidence or synchronicity, any of that. It is so much more. It is the universe knowing how important this exact point in time is, knowing it was asking a lot more of us than it has in any point in time before, and it choosing to hold space and the energies needed for us to get where we needed to get. Take a few moments before we move forward, some deep breaths, and feel that. Allow it to settle in. Allow it to remove any remaining fear, shame, or guilt revolving around feeling stuck as you made the shift from 2025 to 2026. Feeling late to the 111 party because you aren't and you weren't. I promise you, I am receiving and telling you that we are right on time. Okay. I am not being called to do a recap of our 999 to 111 journey of the first two pieces of the Phoenix Blueprint, as I usually would, because if you are here listening to this, receiving this, then you are where you are meant to be. You have done the work that you needed to do, faced the challenges in terms of this choice point that you were meant to face. Whether you listened to those pieces or not, I mean, they're still awesome, and you totally should listen to them and experience those journeys if you feel called to. But it is not necessary in order for you to receive this third and final piece. For you to experience and activate this exact choice point at this exact point in time. You are ready. I am ready. And this is going to be an interesting one because if you're familiar with our activations and journeys, if you've experienced a few of them, you know that while I generally channel and receive from many for the discussion portion, there is always a specific guide or guides that comes through to lead the journey. My role up until this point has been facilitating that journey, transmitting that journey. That was my role in 2025. But remember what I said earlier. At this choice point, at this point in time, I am experiencing a shift from not just being a transmitter to and for the collective, but to being a guide for those within it. And weeks ago, my team and the oversoul that I channel, they very clearly brought in that I would be leading this specific journey. No other guides, no wingmen, just me, myself, and I as guide. Pulling my big girl pants up and standing on my two very sovereign feet. They were throwing me into the deep end of my choice point all the way back then to not just trust through the challenges I was facing, but to begin stepping into and embodying what is to come for me in 2026 with trust, without doubts, without fear, before it fully arrives, before I fully receive it. Not many of you know this, but I have been slowly but surely overcoming social anxiety that was triggered from a much different choice point, a reawakening moment 8 years ago. And this specific challenge they're giving me to stand on my own, to guide on my own without a safety net, at least in my human mind anyway. That is one of the small pieces of that social anxiety that I haven't let go of yet, that I need to let go of in order to step into the role that I am being called to be a guide to others in the collective, not just a channel, not just a transmitter. This moment, jumping into that deep end, this is my true choice point. The choice point that remains after everything that has been preparing me for it comes to completion. We are going to do this. I am going to do this. Okay, a few things before we begin. During the first piece of the Phoenix Blueprint, we journeyed into the lower shamanic realm. And during the second, we journeyed into the upper realm, into the cosmos, to Orion's belt. This time around, with me as guide, I am choosing to keep us and all of our bodies, our consciousness, firmly planted here on Earth in all of our respective locations. In the middle realm, the realm of everyday life and experience. And that is because we are experiencing and activating, making a conscious choice right now, right here, wherever we are all at. So this is where we need to be, fully present in our bodies, where we are at. Because of that, I feel like this is going to be a very meditative style journey. This will be a journey that will take us through receiving and acknowledging our individual choice points, through making and activating our conscious choice for moving forward into 2026, into the start of a new 9-year cycle, into the return to one. And finally, through releasing any blocks and any contracts that have been holding us, our unified and truest purpose and timeline, back until this exact choice point as we stand in the threshold of stepping forward into it. Because that stuff, it's done. We are leaving it behind in the last 9-year cycle. We are making a conscious choice to move forward into a new 9-year cycle, but at the same time, not into something new. Instead, into more of what always was meant to be. For some of us, all of what always was meant to be. I am ready for that. Are you ready for that? If you are, If you are open and willing to receive this journey through me today, surrounded by the energies of the 1212 and 111 portals that are being held open for us, I ask that you simply say yes, either out loud or in your mind. Good. I want you to sit in a comfortable position, allowing your eyes to close and taking 3 slow and deep breaths with me. In through your nose and out through your mouth. Grounding yourself into this moment, this point in time. Temporarily letting go of anything and everything that is flowing in and around your field right now. Simply allowing yourself to be here with me, open and willing to receive. Now, I want you to raise your left hand in front of you and slowly trace a spiral onto your palm that travels inward, counterclockwise, into the past, back through the 9-year cycle that we just ended, and through those that came before it. Then raise your right hand in front of you and slowly trace a spiral onto your palm that travels inward clockwise into the future, into the 9-year cycle that is just beginning, into the return to 1. And as you set both palms facing upwards on your lap, I want you to feel the energy, the power that not only I am guiding into those spirals, but that you, as a whole, strong and powerful being, are gathering into them. It may feel hot or cold, tingly, or for some, nothing at all. Whatever you feel or don't feel, that is more than okay. It is as it should be. Take 3 more deep breaths as we let that energy and power continue to build. As we connect in with, ground into the earth beneath us. As we anchor ourselves into this exact point in human history, our choice point. And as you continue focusing on your breath, begin to not just feel, but to see within your inner eye a field of tall grass emerging, growing around you within the space that you are sitting. Feel the grass and dirt beneath you. Feel a slight breeze and the taller blades brushing against your skin. Feel that energy and power from your palms expanding outwards into the field around you, becoming 2 doors standing in the field before you. The one to your left is a deep red that has the same counterclockwise spiral that you traced upon your left hand, traced upon it. A spiral that travels backwards into the past, back through the 9-year cycle that just ended, and through those that came before it. And the one to your right is a deep green, having that same clockwise spiral that you traced upon your right hand, traced upon it. A spiral that travels forwards into the future, into the 9-year cycle that is just beginning, into the return to one. Those doors are what the conscious choice point you will be making today ultimately come down to. Are you, we, going to continue going backwards? Or are you, we, going to finally begin moving forwards? As you take them in, I call forward any and all members of the Auron Oversoul, of my team and your own teams who wish to join us in this journey, not as guides, but to aid me in forming a circle around you and these doors, in holding space for you and for the energies that we are working with today as we navigate this journey. As you receive and acknowledge your choice point, as you make and activate your conscious choice, as I facilitate the release of any blocks and any contracts that have held you back. Now, I want you to focus on not just the two doors before you, but on the space that surrounds them. Allow yourself to receive the path, the evolution that you and your choice point or choice points have taken since September. All that you have been called to work on and through. All that you have been called to let go of and rise from the ashes of. All of the challenges you have been called to face in preparation for this moment, this final conscious choice. And if you find yourself struggling or unable to come up with anything that feels like it makes sense, that's more than okay. And we will get to why. But in the meantime, just trust, let go, and receive if you are able to. If it helps, think back to what I shared and what I was realizing in the moment while recording this within my own personal journey. Remember the path, the evolution my own choice point took, because it is culminating in something far different from, yet not really different at all, still connected to what it started as. Use that as an example to recognize the same evolution in your path to this choice point, to reach your own realizations about what yours is beginning to culminate in. I'm going to give you a few minutes to do so, as myself and those who came forward facilitate your ability to do so. Now, regardless of whether you received anything, whether you have something clear in mind or not, I would like to call you even deeper into it, to guide you to narrow it down even further to what this choice point at this point in time ultimately culminates in for you as a sovereign being, one within, and for all of us collectively, one without. Because ultimately, it is the same. It is one. Everything ultimately begins and ends, returns to, culminates in the same things, which in and of themselves are one in the form of our core, unified, sovereign and collective purpose and timeline. Truth, love, and movement. Nothing else exists. We can dabble and create in the extremes of each, one way or the other. After all, we have been blessed with that ability. But we always begin and end that dabbling and creation in the same place. We always return to the same place. We always culminate our experience in the same way. Sometimes years later, sometimes decades later, but in the same way. All distortions, all things that are out of alignment, out of resonance, begin and end with unconditional truth, will always return to that truth, will always culminate in that truth by our conscious choice. Truth can exist without distortions, but distortions cannot exist without truth. All thoughts and emotions begin and end with unconditional love, will always return to that love, will always culminate in that love by our conscious choice. Love can exist without fear, hate, anger, and so on. But those thoughts and emotions cannot exist without love. Do you see where I'm guiding you yet? The past, present, and future, time itself, begins and ends with unconditional movement forward, will always return to movement forward, will always culminate in movement forward by our conscious choice. Forward movement can exist in the present without the past, but the past and present cannot exist without forward movement into the future. It is a loop, or more specifically, an infinity loop, an infinity symbol, never ending, but capable of ever expanding as it moves forward. In 2025, the 9-year cycle that has come to a close, and the countless 9-year cycles that have come before, we have been making a conscious choice as sovereign beings and as a collective to remain stuck in the same distortions that have been getting us nowhere, to remain stuck in the same thoughts and emotions that have been getting us nowhere, to keep repeating the past and the cycles that have gotten us nowhere. So, regardless of the specific challenge or challenges, choice or choices your personal journey has been culminating in since September, this is the real challenge we are facing, the real conscious choice we are being asked to make at this exact moment in time as sovereign beings and collectively, to choose differently, to choose stepping forward into more truth, to choose stepping forward into more love, to choose moving forward over remaining stuck, cycling backwards for another 9 years until we face this level of a choice point again in 2034. Take a few moments to receive all of that, to acknowledge that as the choice point you are ultimately facing as you take in the two doors that are standing before you. What are you going to do? Which door are you going to consciously choose to step through today? Is it the deep red door to your left with that counterclockwise spiral backwards into the past that is screaming out to you to stop here? Stay with me in this false safety and ease of the familiar. Hang out with me for another 9 years. It will be fun. Or is it the deep green door to your right with that clockwise spiral forwards into the future that is gently calling you to go, to return to it, to begin moving forward with it into what feels like the unknown, but has really been there all along, just waiting for you to remember it, to choose more of yourself, of the universe, of everything. Think about that choice. Really think about it, because yeah, it sounds simple, and it is, but in our human bodies and experience, it is also a commitment that you are going to have to make each and every day to yourself, no matter what you face. No matter how easy or hard your hour, day, week, or month seems, a commitment to keep consciously making that choice, a commitment to keep taking steps forward along the path of that choice, to step into and embody it, to live it, to transmit and spread it to others through your energy, through your frequency. If you aren't ready to choose that green door yet, if you can't make that commitment yet, that is more than okay. Not everyone is or will be. I can feel some of you now through this recording that are not ready. Trust me, there are more than enough beings that are and can, who will hold it open for you and for others, who will transmit and spread what they find along the path beyond it with you and others until you are ready, until we are all ready. You can end this journey here, and you can come back to it whenever you are ready. It will be waiting. Its energies will be waiting. I will be waiting. If you're ready to choose that green door, though, I want you to rise within the field you see within your inner eye. And I want you to approach that door and put your right hand with that clockwise spiral you traced on it over the clockwise spiral traced on that door. And I want you to repeat after me. I choose you. I choose more truth. I choose more love. I choose more movement forward. I choose more remembrance of me. I choose me. Those words, they are powering up your palm even more. They are your key. Watch as they activate and illuminate the spiral on the door clockwise from the outside in. Feel it activating with and beneath your palm with the power that you and your words hold. Then watch as the door opens on its own, because it has been ready and waiting for you to choose it for a very long time. And as it opens, I want you to step into the threshold of it, not through it yet, to the other side, but into the threshold and take in what lies before you, and at the same time, what lies behind you. What you will see lying in front of you beyond this door appears no different than what you see lying behind you. What was there before the door opened? It's the same field of grass. At least it seems that way. Let yourself have that moment of confusion, whatever you were feeling in response, and even a little bit of doubt, as long as you don't allow yourself to get stuck in it. Now, let yourself start to consider why that is. Why what lies ahead of you beyond this conscious choice point looks the same as what lies behind you before it. It is because you have taken a massive step closer towards truth, towards love, towards movement. You have taken a massive step closer into alignment and resonance with each of those things. You have taken a massive step closer to your unified timeline, what some refer to as your highest timeline, which you have been creating alternate timelines around since the moment your soul incarnated into your body, having forgotten everything, including that timeline. What has always remained there, waiting for you to return to it with unconditional truth, love, and movement. Of course, it looks the same ahead of you and behind you right now, because this increasingly aligned timeline that you have just stepped into has rippled outward from this choice point, from the threshold of this door, from you into the past behind you and on into the future before you. And in doing so, it changed what was into what is and always will be. So don't you dare look at it, see it as no different, and feel like you didn't accomplish something massive just now in choosing this door, in stepping into the threshold of it. Because you did. Now, I'm going to have you remain standing within this threshold, because whether you can see them yet or not, recognize them yet or not, most of you still have lingering bits and pieces of blocks within your human thoughts and emotions. Blocks that you can choose to leave behind in the past, where they belong, so that they no longer hold you back as you move forward into your future. And most of you also still have galactic contracts in place that have been holding you back in your journey and in regards to your power, specifically until this very point in time when Earth and the collective of below and above would begin readying to move forward again. Contracts that have served their purpose and are no longer needed. I am going to be silent for about 5 minutes so that I can aid you in releasing those blocks and aid you in releasing those contracts using my gifts. All that I ask of you during that silence is that you set and hold an intention to release them. And that if at any point during the silence you feel the call to trace on your hand, move your hand or move your body in a counterclockwise or clockwise spiral motion, allow it to happen. The movement backwards, that is you traveling backwards to release what was. The movement forwards, that is you traveling forwards to step into the more that is unlocked in the absence of what you released. And if you don't feel called to move, you do not need to. That is more than okay. I'll still be doing my thing regardless. I am going to bring this releasing to a close. And as I do so, I want you to take 3 deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. Then step through the threshold and into your conscious choice if you are prepared to do so. Once again, if you are not, if you need to stop here and come back to it, or if you feel like you need to jump back and do the releasing portion again, that is more than okay. But for those that are ready, step through, step forward, and feel the difference in your field. Not the field of grass, in your energy field, in your frequency, in every single one of the bodies that make up your being. Feel the truth. Feel the love. Feel the movement that is carrying you forward without even having to try. All of it is yours, and you are worthy of it. In fact, go ahead and repeat after me. I am worthy. I am worthy of unconditional truth. I am worthy of unconditional love. I am worthy of unconditional movement forward. I am worthy of the timeline that I am stepping into. I am worthy. I am worthy. I am worthy. Sit with those words, with this space and timeline that you have stepped into, with the feeling all of it creates for a few moments before we bring this journey to a close. Now, I want you to take 3 slow and deep breaths with me. In through your nose and out through your mouth. Allowing yourself to once again ground into this moment, this point in time. Allowing your awareness to begin returning to your surroundings. Allowing your eyes to begin to open when you are ready. Thank you for joining me for our discussion, for this journey, for this final piece and culmination of the Phoenix Blueprint that I was called to create and share with all of you. Take some time for yourself to sit with and celebrate what you have accomplished here today, to journal about the experience and anything that might have come through for you, to make some plans, because that path we have chosen here today, it is opening up so much more for each of us and for all of us at the same time. More importantly, don't forget that your journey ahead is a constant, conscious commitment. The work isn't done. There will always be more. That is just an inherent fact of movement. It will keep moving unconditionally, infinitely. Arishkati.